everyone, and thank you for joining me for this week's Storytime Friends Takeout Activity. I am Miss Lisa with the Osceola Library System. Now, in order to follow along at home, you can download the PDF instructions. The link is found in the description below the video. Now this week, we are celebrating Children's Book Weeks, and we are going to be making our own book. Now, in order to make our own book, we'll need the following supplies. You will need 2 pieces of copy paper, plain white, it could be a different color if you don't have it. You are going to need half of a piece of cardstock or construction paper folded and cut long ways. You are going to need scissors, a marker, a pencil, a hole punch, 1 craft stick, and a rubber band. Not too long, not too short. Now, let's get started. In order to make our book, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our 2 pieces of paper, we're going to keep them together, and we're going to fold them long ways. All right? And when we fold them, make sure you crease them really well. You're going to cut them along that fold. So when you open it up, cut it. And you're going to wind up with 4 rectangular pieces that look just like this. These are going to be your pages. I'm going to take these and I'm going to fold them short ways now. And I'm going to make a nice crease here too. Since these are going to be our pages, we're going to have to hole punch them. So I'm going to take my hole punch and I'm going to go in about 1/4 inch and down about 1 inch or so. And I am going to punch the holes. It doesn't really matter how far you go in or but you want to make sure that it's far enough in that it's not going to rip if it's too close to the edge. I'm going to do the same thing, going about the same width in, the same width down on the bottom. All right, I'm going to punch those holes. Now I have my pages. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to make my cover. I take my half piece of cardstock or construction paper, which I have cut long ways, so I have half of it, and I am going to fold that also. I'm folding that in half. This will be my cover. Now, what I need to do is I need to get holes in my cover, but I want to make sure they line up. So I'm going to take my pages, put it in front of my cover, just like that. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to trace the circle inside. Now this will give us the approximation of where those holes should be. I'm going to take my hole punch, and I'm not sure if you can see them because I did trace very lightly, and I'm going to put it over that hole so I really can't see it. It's going to cover it up, punch that hole, and I'm going to do the same thing for this hole. Put it over the hole and punch it. Now, what should happen is when I open my cover and put my pages in, my holes should line up. If they don't, I can take my pencil and I can put it through the holes and I can just move it over just a little bit. But there you go. Now, in order to keep my pages inside my book, I'm going to have to use something to bind the book. So I'm taking my craft stick and I'm going to put it next to my holes. And this is where you might need an extra set of hands because you're going to be working with the rubber band, the book, and the craft sticks. I'm going to take the end of my rubber band. I am going to put it through my hole. So I'm going to move my craft stick for a second. And now it's through. I'm going to thread my end of my craft stick through that hole, not the hole, through the end of the rubber band, and I'm going to pull it tight. We can always move the craft stick later. I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom. I'm turning it over though. I'm going to put this through the bottom hole, just like that. And this is where you really need to be careful because while you're pulling that rubber band tight, you don't want it to snap on your finger. I'm going to open the rubber band with my craft stick while I slide it in there. And now I have this binding. And like I said, I can move this up a little bit or down a little bit if it's not right. And that's what my book looks like. Now you'll notice on my book, what I did was I put, make your own book, but you could put anything there. You could put your name. I could have put Miss Lisa's book, or I could have come up with some story that I wanted and I could have put the title on the book. And now you have your very own book. But before you go, I want to tell you that part of the reason that we're celebrating Children's Book Week is because reading is so important to us. It makes us so smart. Now, at the Osceola Library System, we have a very special program called 1000 Books Before Kindergarten. And it's a fun, exciting, and free way to start your child on their path to success. Now, any child ages birth through 5 years old can participate, and you just need to follow these steps. Now, you can sign up online, or you can go into any branch to get the details. Then, all you need to do is track your reading. Every book you're going to log and keep track of those books. And guess what? Every one of those books counts. So, even if your child likes to read the same books over and over again, as long as they sit and listen to the entire book, you can count that again. You can also count books that are heard at Storytime, or books that are read at daycare or preschool, or that aunts or uncles might read to them, or family members, or cousins, or friends, any book, as long as that child listens to the entire thing. And once you have completed those 1,000 books, and once you've logged them, you are going to make an appointment with your youth services librarian at your branch, and we are going to celebrate your child by taking their handprint, putting paint on their hand to create their handprint, I meant to say, and placing it on our tree of literacy. The banner is located at the library, and it will be on that banner forever. But you don't want to stop there, because keep on reading. There's so much to learn. Now, I know that 1,000 books sounds like a lot, but if you read one book every day, in a year you'll have 365 books read, and you'll finish within 3 years. Or if you read 3 books a day, you would take only a year to reach that 1,000 mark. So come into the library and check out some books. And of course, I have some books for you. This one is called Miss Brooks' Story Nook, and it was written by Barbara Botner and illustrated by Michael Emberley. A book like this, if you read to your child, it would absolutely count towards your 1,000 books. Or a book like this, a book about books. A Child of Books talks about the little girl who's reading up there. Olivia Jeffers and Sam Winston are the people who created this book. Now, even if your child isn't kindergarten age, even if they're older, guess what? Please still bring them into the library to check out some books and keep them reading, because we know that reading helps you to succeed. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope I'll see you next time for our next Storytime Friends Takeout activity. See you then.